Sorry, Angie got disconnected for a second. Sorry, you want to pick it
Yes.
up where you left
Yeah, I'm
off?
here. I'm here. Yeah. I know you were talking about, we were just talking about kids and how challenging it is to let them be who they are and let them kind of figure out where they want to go and what they want to do. And I think you were talking about how when it comes time for college, and if they decided they didn't want to go to school, like how that would feel. We talked about how it would feel for us, right?
Yep,
If
yep.
we said that to our parents, it would have been like, what? I did struggle when my oldest said that, but something, he is at the happiest point in his life right now. He's doing what he loves each and every day. He is supporting himself. He's surrounding himself with good people. Um, and it's like a testimony that he's living his best life. Now, does he own a home yet? No, he does not.
Right.
Does he have a brand new car? No, he does not. But those are things that are not important to him. And that's what I had to understand. I needed to honor his wishes and who he is. And you were talking about like your girls with art. My girl is also into art. We have to let them explore and be who they are. And sometimes that's really hard, but I think that's how we honor them.
We do, and I think there's another portion I think I wanted to touch on was the generation gap, right? I think
Yes,
if
that's what you were.
I was
Yes.
into music when I was, in my early 20s, I think when I was 18, and I still do it very minimal, but that time, like that was my passion, right? Like I mean, I would spend so much time in the studio, trying to
Hmm.
either learn stuff or even writing songs or working on an album, things like that. And see, to my parents, it would be like, okay, you're wasting time, go to college, right? So
Right?
they're not, they didn't, not saying they didn't understand, but to them, as first generation immigrant parents, like we have to make it
Yes.
in life. Music's
Yes.
not gonna pay the bill, right?
Right.
So a lot of your dreams kind of got pushed to a side, like no, that's not real stuff. That's not reality.
Hmm.
And I feel like a lot of these hobbies that could have been, my dream to be have actually a career path, it just wasn't an option at that point,
Right.
and the only option was to make it in life with the job that will pay the bill, so you can survive and have a better life than your parents, right? I think now since I'm there and I made it, I have that comfort level of all right, I want to give that space to my kid and see what they want to do, right? I don't want to push things towards them if they don't have passion for it, right? Even if you look back, like right now, I'm where I'm sitting at in my career path. Some of these people I work with, they all have like variety different type of degrees and stuff that are, no one actually made it what they said they would. Like, if
Right.
went to school for to be a pharmacist, but end up working in IT, went to
Hmm.
school for something else, but now doing something else. Is that is the norm of, I feel like, of
Hmm.
my generation, right? So we do need to take away and learn something that it doesn't matter how well you plan it
Right.
or how well you're trying to plan the future, right? It's things will change along the way. Your passion might change, your situation might change, and you might end up having a whole different career path. So I think
Yeah.
giving our kids that space and figure that out since
Hmm.
we learned it,
Hmm.
that's I think that's probably the best thing we can do for them.
100%. Think of how many people I know right now that are in jobs that they absolutely hate. I mean, I do recruiting for a living, so I talk to these people that are looking for other opportunities at other jobs, and it's a weird job market. And again, you always worry about your kids' security and are they going to be able to do these things? But my son, when he had that conversation with me and said, I'm not going to allow my identity to be my career. I want to be who I am as I am, and my work is simply that. It is a means to an end. And I
Yep.
love that. And so with these other two of mine growing up, and one that's going to be a senior next year who is struggling with what do I want to do with my life? I just I think the way again to honor them is as they are, and try to guide but not drive.
Right.
So, I we'll figure out what he wants to do. I mean, he's a great student and he's great with languages. He's really good at visualizing like logistics of things, understanding that. And we'll see. We'll see. I'll be here for it. And
Yeah.
I think, like you said, a lot of times you don't work in what you got your degree in. You never, like, I was going to be a pharmacist. I don't know if you knew that. It was funny you said that, but I got
No, I
into
didn't
pharmacy school. Yeah, I got into pharmacy school. I actually married my chemistry tutor, um, and then decided I didn't want to do it. Yeah, I did. I did. I married my chemistry tutor. That sounds like a country song, but
know.
yeah, I did. I did. And, and divorced him 10 years later. But I think the point is that there are days that I'm like, oh my God, I should have been a pharmacist. I mean, I would not be
Mm,
dealing with all this drama. But at the same time, I really do love helping people find things that light them up. And what I've been I mean, I would have been doing something, I would have been giving them medicine they needed, but would have that been fulfilling for me? And so I I never felt like I had the space to be myself with my family and my parents. And nothing on them. They were from a generation probably one before yours. My parents were born in like 1933.
mm,
And so they had me late in life. And it was, get your education, definitely get married because a woman shouldn't be out there by herself and, do this, this, this. And I just never really fit into that mold. And so I think the way that we honor our kids is living authentically ourselves,
right.
letting them see that,
Yep.
and then letting them have that freedom. So,
Absolutely. And the best thing you can do is just be there for them. Honestly,
yeah,
that's the only thing they will remember. Nothing
yeah,
else. Right.
yeah,
So I try to do my best to do that part. The rest will work itself out. I'm not worried.
it does. I think when kids know that they are loved and accepted for who they are as they are, you give them the keys to the castle. You really do. Of go out and do. You have my support. I think that in some cases, parents like almost put conditions on their love and approval based on how their kids perform, for lack of a better word, or obey. And so I grew up in that household, and it was always about my grades or what I did or how how I looked, all of it. And I have totally freed my kids from that. Yeah, you should get
Good
good
for you.
grades because you're a smart kid, but it's
Right.
about the effort, in my opinion, more than the actual grade. If
Right.
I know that you're doing and you're performing at where where you naturally are, at your best, where you feel good about what you just did, I'm good with it.
Right.
And so, yeah. So when I saw a D on my son's Latin for his grade, for a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, where are we at with this? I said, are you putting in the effort? No, I've been playing my video games. It's like, do you feel good about that? No, I don't. Okay, well then let's get you feeling better about what you do. He turned it around into a B, like and a B plus at the end of the year. So there you go. But
Right.
I think it's just important to be there for them. But then Taki, let's flip this on ourselves. What do we do to honor ourselves?
Right.
Right? What do you I know that you do a lot to improve and you're always striving. You you really are so mindful of how you treat your body. And I admire that. Like like your intake, what you eat, how move your body, exercise, you know, I've always admired that about you. And I think that you do those things to honor. like yourself, right? We get one go round on this planet, and it's about honoring ourselves too. And there's all this self-care, but I think it goes beyond that. Like, what do you think?
For me, it's beyond that, right? I think it's how I live every day, how my kids view me every day, how dad's eating every day.
Mhm.
And it's the discipline, it's being consistent, showing up every day. Doesn't matter, right? I'm injured, but guess what? Showing up at the gym every single day with my torn calf doesn't matter. That's not going to stop me from, getting improved every day.
Right?
I think there are too many people out there willing to look for the excuse why not to show up,
Right?
where I'm finding the other way around is even I have all the excuses in the world, but I'm trying to show up because it also giving the message to my kids like, man, dad had like 100 things to juggle, being a single dad, us, work, you name it, right? Life in general. But he's not making excuses. He's showing up what he needs to
Yeah.
do. If my son end up being, he end up playing soccer for a league or something, right? That's what he needs to remember.
Mhm.
How I raised him and what he took away, right? Looking at me, because I think we play a huge role as a parent, right? What
Mhm.
we do, that's what they learn.
Right?
What we demonstrate in day to day life, that's what they're learning. I'm not saying that's how they will be living, but that's how they will remember me. And
Mhm.
all I want them to take the best part of me and apply to their lives. It doesn't matter how it is. So it's not about the bodybuilding. It's about being consistent with things. It's about showing up, right? Um, that's I think for me that's why like I set good example for myself. At least I like to think that, you know.
Mhm.
So that way I'm passing this down to my kids, and some of the those things are hard, right? I personally feel like some people don't have it. They have to work
Mhm.
really, really hard towards being consistent and do the hard work. A lot of people just rather not do it, and I think that what scares me. I don't want to be an average person, right? I want to show up and I'm gonna outwork everybody. That's one thing I know for about me, whether it's jobs, whether anywhere else I am in the environment. You are not outworking me under no condition. It's not gonna happen. It's just the mentality, how I push myself with everything, whether it's work, whether it's gym, whether it's something else, whether it's being a better father. I'm trying to be best at what I can in my best ability. Um, and I think there's a rewards to that because I see results for myself. But the other part of the rewards is when my kids was like when they are giving the compliment.
Mhm.
That's like the best feelings in the world, right?
Totally.
Um, so I'm not saying that this is the right answer for everybody. All I'm saying is for me, that's how I view it. That's how it's working for me, you know, and we'll see
Yeah.
where it goes.
100%. And I think that, when you talk about consistency, it's not just your consistency in your routines, like for the gym or when you're prepping. It's the consistency in how you show up for your kids. It's the consistency
Yeah.
in how you approach everything. And I think that creates a lot of security and safety for them because you do what you say and you say what you do, and you've demonstrated that for them. But flipping this around is you also have to have well-defined boundaries because when you are giving to others, Taki, that's part of this honoring yourself as well. Like you have really high standards. And so you're going to honor yourself by ensuring that you are meeting the standards that are important to you. But there's also that place of boundary, right? Where, you haven't seen this friend in a long time and they just reached out and you want to be a good friend to them. And yes, you might have 2 or 3 hours that you could get with this person or, meet them or do something with them, but you also know how exhausted you are.
Mhm.
And so it's like, where's that line between being Superman, and I'll just say it, being Superman and honoring yourself. They talk about it, and I know everybody says it, but they talk about how when you're on a plane and they say that if the air pressure drops, that you put
Mhm.
the mask on yourself before you put it on
Yep.
your kids, right? Because you're
Mhm.
no good for them if you're passed out. And
Right.
so I just, as your friend, just want to call this out. What do you do just for you? Is it your music? Is it, what do you do aside from all of these things that you achieve
Mhm.
and how you show up for your kids? What do you do for you? Just you.
I honestly take if it used to be music. Nowadays it's just depending on what do I need, right?
Hmm.
And maybe for the most days it is just lay on the couch and do nothing, watch
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And because I need the time to myself, right? And I think more times are passing, I start to realize, like, especially, you have to start reflecting on everything, your past, especially, right? And you have to learn how to process it with, every day, basically. And I think for me, taking that time off sometimes, just when
Hmm.
I don't have the kids, I, I would like shut everything down and just watch Netflix or not do anything because that's me time.
Right.
Even in the gym, if I go for that hour, it is a me time. It's not like I'm socializing. I don't go to gym for socializing. I have my headphones
Right.
on and I work out, but that 1 hour is just to dedicate it to me. I'm not
Right.
thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking about jobs and finance or stress. It's about that 1 hour. I really mentally I have trained on this for a long time, so I know how to do it now. So I turn off everything. My mind shut off everything. I'm just in the zone for that 1 hour and just focusing on me. And so yeah, it could be from the gym, or it could be the music, or it could be just laying in the couch, being lazy.
You got to do those things, though. I mean, for me, I have a thing. I love estate sales. I love estate sales and I like to go thrifting because I like to look for really unique things. And I always love the idea of something having history behind it. And I love to do that. Sometimes I don't get anything. It's not even about what I get, it's about going out and doing something is it belongs to me. Now, my kids will go
Mm.
with me sometimes. And I've taught them well. They know what to look out for in case there's some Van Gogh painting like in someone's garage that they're selling. We're going to be there for it and we're going to know. But I I have to have that time. Or sometimes it's just driving somewhere or my morning walk. Every day I do a morning walk just to be in nature. Uh, because I think as parents, so much of our time is devoted to making sure our kids are happy and healthy and safe and
Mhm.
fed and they have all the resources they need. We forget about ourselves. And what we do is we demonstrate that to our kids.
Yeah.
So I think as we honor ourselves, we're also teaching our kids that it's healthy to have some boundaries. It's healthy not
Mhm.
to be on the go all the time. It's healthy to do the things that light you up without any type of gain. In other words, like if I go to estate sales or thrifting or whatever, there's no real gain in that other than just the fun in doing it. So I
Right.
think it's super important for them to see that too. I think
Yeah.
that, we talked about being authentic with our kids and letting them see us like and being vulnerable with them. This goes along with that, right? It's, you know, mom needs her time. Like if they know I'm in here with the door shut, well, I mean, I'm usually interrupted 50 times, but if I have the conversation ahead of time, "Hey, this is my time. This
Right.
is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna listen to music. I'm gonna open up my patio and let the air come in and just chill," then they give me that space and that time. And what they think is, that's mom's time. And there's going to be a juncture in their life where I hope they reflect back on that and say, I need my time. And they
Right.
take that time. So I think it's just important to do that for our kiddos.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, that's probably one of my favorite time off is only can do it in the summer and spring and the fall, but motorcycle.
Oh, that's right.
I'm like, how did I forget that? That's like my biggest therapeutic time off that I can take and, go for this long ride. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite. But you can't do that all the time. So, the rest comes after.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. I just think it's just important. I mean, we talk about how we honored people that we love from our past and how we honor our kids and allowing them to choose their future. And I think the takeaway, Taki, is we have to stay in the present, right? We have to stay in this present moment and take in all of it and experience the things and still, despite all the things that are on our plate daily, that we still cultivate that time for ourselves to honor ourselves, honor our own heart, honor what lights us up, that is separate from all of these other things. And again, that's the example that we set for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Angie, again. This was, you know, I know we talked about a lot of personal stuff. This was really good. I haven't talked about things about my dad's for a very long time. So thank you for bringing that up. Um, even the memory itself, like it just feels really good to, kind of look back at the things, have done. So it was really good. Thank you again for um, not only just bringing this up and sharing it, but also just carrying the tradition moving forward.
Thank you,
We really
Taki.
appreciate that.
Thank you. I mean, it's just amazing how you're impacting other people's lives. I think how we all can, and just in our stories and our experiences. And at the end, like, I don't even know your dad, but I think of your dad. Every time I do that, I think of your dad and I think of you. And that's the beauty of it. That's what they call, I think, that continuity of life, right? Is
Yep.
is just keeping his memory alive. So
Yep. All right. Well, thank you again for your time today. We'll
thank
catch up
you.
next time.
Yeah.
All right.
See you soon.
See you.